After suffering a concussion in Sunday's game against the Rams, Carson Palmer has been ruled out tonight against the 49ers. Drew Stanton will start in his place. Since 1990, teams that have started the season 1-4 have made the playoffs 8% of the time, including 2 teams last season. Stephen A., would you call this a must-win for the Cardinals tonight?
I would. I would, because of the NFL season, because of the success rate of those who start 1-4, like you said, 8%, and more importantly, because of the way they've looked, Max. I mean, they're not going to have Carson Palmer tonight. He's going through the concussion protocol. He's not going to play. Drew Stanton is your guy. Good luck with that, even though he is playing against Blaine Gabbert. In the end, what it comes down to, I'm just looking at their schedule. After this, they've got the Jets coming up in Seattle, both home games, but chances are they'll lose at least one of them. They've got a road game to revisit the NFC Championship game against Carolina, who's now in desperate straits, and I think they'll be ready for that game. You've got San Francisco again. Then you've got road games at Minnesota and at Atlanta before playing at home against Washington. And then you close out the season with Miami, New Orleans, Seattle, and Los Angeles. I mean, those are potential losses there. And I think that, you know, they could find themselves in a situation where after this, if they lose and they're 1-4, they could go 500 the rest of the way, or 6-5 over their last 11 games. Well, where that's going to leave them? That's going to leave them with a 7-9 season. That's not going to get it done. So I think the level of urgency has definitely touched them. You're hearing Bruce Arians talk about how the team needs to improve, needs to get better. The general manager is saying the same thing. Defensively, they rank 11th, but 20th against the run. Their offense is 15th with the rush. They don't seem to be themselves. They seem to be a shell of themselves, and the luster has basically dimmed when it comes to Bruce Arians. They need to win tonight. You lose to San Francisco and Chip Kelly, who has proven every week that this college stuff don't work on a pro level. You do this. You lose to San Francisco, it ain't going to get much better for you.
Yesterday I was thinking about this game, and I was thinking, you know, yeah, this is in week 5, like you're going to go 1-4. I can't believe it's this early and we're saying this, but it's a must-win game. If they lose, they're not going to make the playoffs. But then in preparing for this show today, Stephen A., I looked at it more closely, and I have reversed my decision about this.
Oh, Lord.
I do not think this is a must-win game. Not because of anything you identified in terms of the struggles they're having. They are. They lost 2 offensive linemen in the offseason, particularly at right tackle. They've had a problem. And Carson Palmer, he's not playing. And the thing about Palmer is he really does need time. When he was coming on like a house on fire early in his career, he's Tom Brady, he's Peyton Manning. He got good protection. As soon as that broke down, Carson Palmer, not so much. He's not the most mobile fellow in the world. At any rate, Drew Stanton's pretty good for a backup, but still is not a starting quarterback. You look at so yes, they're in trouble. If you lose to San Francisco, that's a game you really need to win when you start 1-3. How do you make the playoffs? Well, I can go over that same schedule, Stephen A., and say I could see where they go 8-4 the rest of the way. I mean, Seattle is a tough game, but that's a divisional rivalry. Carolina's had the same kind of problems that the Cardinals have had so far this year. Atlanta has no defense. Washington's just okay. Miami's not very good. New Orleans has no defense.
8-4 puts them at 9-7.
Yes. Now here's the thing about that. The Packers. Let's say the Minnesota Vikings win the division. Packers are a wild card. Let's just say. Where's the other wild card going to come from? The NFC East is so great that one of those teams might win 10 games? I don't know that.
The two of them are playing pretty well.
Fine, but neither. You look at the NFC East, rather. You're not like, boy, one of those teams is a lock to come out of the South.
What about the South?
Nothing there.
Right now?
Yeah.
But what if they lose to San Francisco, but Carolina gets going?
If Carolina gets going, that's, by the way, and Carolina's looking at the Cardinals saying the same thing. Like, so I don't,
it's wide open.
If they're 1-4, I can't believe it, but if they're 1-4, they're still not out of the playoff hunt the way things are going.
I think 1-4 essentially seals your fate. Because I think that I'm not going to predict that Carolina is going to continue to fall. I definitely think that Green Bay and Minnesota will make enough noise. And definitely there's a possibility that because of the NFC East being what it is, the way Peterson has turned things around. I mean, they went from the fastest offense with big difference in time of possession to the slowest offense in the league right now. I think them combined with Dallas can make things very interesting. I think Arizona's got to win tonight. I really do.
Well, it wouldn't hurt.
It's open. Looking forward to it. King James opened up his preseason last night. He played 13 minutes, scored 7 points, had 6 assists, and the Cavs' 117-102 win over the Magic. This is what he had to say about his performance after the game.
Just continue to, try to be as much a complete player as I can be, and I feel like there's no spot on the floor where I can't succeed at, and, from in the paint, to the perimeter, just continue to expand my game while I can and go out there and have my team win. And, it was fun to get back out there tonight.
Max.
Yeah.
How long can LeBron stay the best player on the planet?
I said that he's in decline the other day, and I believe he is. But he is falling from such absurd Michael Jordan-esque heights that even in decline, it's still his era. He's still better than everybody else, Stephen A. And he's an Iron Man, too. He doesn't miss playoff games every year, going to the finals, win or lose. I mean, that's a lot of extra games, playing in the Olympics some years, the whole thing, all the obligations on him. And yet he plays in almost every game. When he needs a little rest in the regular season, he takes it, but he's always ready for the playoffs. At this rate of decline, you don't even say, I see decline here physically. At this rate of decline, I don't know if you can really say much more than 3 years out. How do you really predict more than 3 years out, let's say? But I don't see where anyone overtakes him in the next 3 years. He's not that much older than KD or Westbrook or anyone like that, or Steph Curry, where I see them ever catching him. I'm reminded to go use it, when Jose Reyes was coming up at shortstop with the Mets and Derek Jeter was with the Yankees. The whole question is, when's Reyes going to get better than Jeter? And sure, at the very end, when Jeter couldn't play anymore, he was. But basically, the answer was never. Until the year before Jeter retired, he was always better. As good as Reyes was, Jeter's just a better player. And I think this is the thing with LeBron. As good as Westbrook, Durant, and others, and Steph can be, I don't ever see them being better than LeBron James declining at this tiny little rate. His skills are so broad-based that he can evolve into a different even kind of player as he gets older and still be elite. The name I look to, the guy I look to that maybe could overtake him 3 or 4 years from now is Karl Anthony Towns, who in this NBA can do everything. Close out on shooters, switch on guys defensively, play the post, play defense in the post, shoot the three, score down low, grab rebounds, pass the ball. Maybe Karl Anthony Towns in 3 or 4 years. Otherwise, I think the answer to how long LeBron could be the best in the game is as long as he wants.
I think you're wrong. Let me say this. LeBron James, to me, definitely is the best player in the world. Couple of years or whatever. Could even be 3, like you said, with one exception. If the Golden State Warriors win the championship, the person that can overtake him is Kevin Durant. When you look at Kevin Durant, what do we have? What's his biggest Achilles heel in the eyes of those watching him? Nobody questions his skill set. Nobody questions how surreal he is. We all universally recognize that Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 players on the planet. The kryptonite is LeBron. Matter of fact, I know some cats covering the NBA that believe that's why he didn't go to the East, because he didn't want to go up against LeBron. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what they've said to me. So what I'm saying to you is that if he goes out west and they win, and he's one of the pivotal reasons why, and there's no reason to believe that he won't be, then all of a sudden we're going to have to look at him differently, because even though he went to Golden State and rode the coattails of an already championship squad, the bottom line is if he's a pivotal component in it all, we're going to have to look at him because his skill set along with his averages are going to come into play. When you bring up Karl Anthony Towns, boy, was I wrong about him. I thought he would be good. I didn't have any idea he would be this good.
Sick.
As far as I'm concerned, John Calipari hit him, okay, which John Calipari laughs at me about all the time because he did hide him, okay? But Karl Anthony Towns is special. But I'm not giving him the edge over Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was hurt last year. He was hurt last year. It doesn't count. He was hurt. In New Orleans right now, and I like Alvin Gentry as a person, exceptional basketball mind, did a great job as a lead assistant in Golden State. He's not getting that love from some of his contemporaries on the NBA level right now. I don't know whether it's ingratiating himself with players, not ingratiating himself well enough, whatever. But I respect Alvin Gentry, and I like him. But the point is, that roster that he thought he was going to have, it hasn't improved. He's got to rely on Anthony Davis, who has very little help. But if Anthony Davis got some help with what he brings to the table, Anthony Davis can be that dude.
I want to respond to 3 different things you just said.
Sure.
Okay. 1, KD going to the Warriors, in fact, was tacit acknowledgement, meaning unspoken acknowledgement, that LeBron James is too good for everybody else. That's what that was. The Warriors seeking KD, of course, you're always trying to get better. But as stacked as the Warriors are, they look at LeBron, they go, if he has any help at all, he's just too much. KD looks at LeBron and goes, not that guy. Can't do it. I need to go join the best team in the league to give us a shot. They're not necessarily a lock to beat Cleveland, but to give us a good shot against Cleveland.
By the way, he's wrong. I want to say for the record,
yeah.
Had KD gone to New York with Melo,
nothing against LeBron. They got no wins against LeBron.
Let me tell you something right now. If KD and Melo were together, they could take LeBron.
Well, okay,
they could have taken
not
LeBron.
a chance. I don't think they have a shot.
Yes.
But okay,
hey,
look.
yes.
But hold on. That's one. That's one. Two. I don't think KD's ever going to be perceived that way, even if they win 80 games in the regular season, 80-2, and win the championship, because he will be, in terms of statistical analysis, he'll be sharing numbers with Steph and Clay. Clay, in fact, is the guy. When you look at the sets the Warriors want to run, Clay is the one who's designed to get the least defensive attention. He's going to get numbers. Steph's going to get numbers.
Wrong.
That's going to lower the averages. I'm not saying KD's not going to put up big numbers, but it ain't going to be 28 points a game. Okay, we'll see.
Still wrong.
3, Anthony Davis.
Yep.
If you took injury history out of it, yes, Anthony Davis would be even better than Karl Anthony Towns. He's performed at an incredibly high level in the NBA. But the guy is a lock to miss 20 games a season. He misses too many games. He's injury prone. We've seen that so far. And he came into the league needing to learn to stretch it out to shoot the 3. Karl Anthony Towns came into the league. They made sure in college he came into the league being able to shoot from downtown. So, in fact, to best take advantage of the modern NBA, it was Karl Anthony Towns, who, though I agree, not as talented as Anthony Davis, but given Anthony Davis's injury history and Karl Anthony Towns' already formed skill set, I think, in fact, Karl Anthony Towns is the safer bet. And by the way, we didn't mention Kristaps Porzingis, who's 7'3",
listen,
and in a couple of years, the East is just going to have to game plan around him.
With that, don't mention him now. I mean, not when you got Anthony Davis and Karl. No, don't do that. And then not only that, when you think about Anthony Davis, he only missed about 20 games the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I mean,
each.
I'm just saying, but a lot of those times they take some games off during the. Trust me on this. They take games off even when they're not injured. So let's keep that in mind. Last point. When you sit up there and you talk about Kevin Durant and his stats, you know why the stats don't mean anything when it comes to Kevin Durant, no matter how much his numbers will drop? Because he spent 9 years proving what he can do offensively. So now you're stepping back because of the system and the personnel. It's not a matter. No one questions what he can do offensively. You would be right if Kevin Durant didn't have a career 27.4 point per game average.
He's also joining a 73-win team.
How much
credit is he going to get for that?
I'm just saying. He's already proven what he can do. So anything he does to step back, sort of like what you say about Bosh. Remember, Bosh comes from Toronto to Miami. He steps
People
back.
killed him for that.
But they were wrong.
I agree they'll be wrong, but that's the
Some
perception.
days we agree on things. Today's not one of those days. And also, someone
Good
had
day,
this
in other words.
desk.